Because I'm currently under government mandate imprisonment or house arrest, or what is the odd phrase they call it? Self-isolation. Because I was in a room in which somebody else the following day tested positive on a PCR test, and therefore by default I am scooped up in the net that has to protect the world from catching anything that I may have inadvertently caught, and it's illegal now for me to go out of the house until I've completed this 10-day being at home business. I have not been able to go out, obviously, and make my videos, not even my lovely long format videos. So today I was thinking, what shall I do? And I've left it pretty much to the last minute, really, because I've had a few days to think about this. But I was just doing other things and taking my mind off the ridiculous nature of this situation. And I thought, I know, because I'm stuck in my house and I'm having to think about what's in my house, I thought I'd take you on a brief tour of the house and the things that, maybe some of the stories or some of the things that have happened here, or things that I would like to do in the future if ever I could make this YouTube channel actually earn some money so I could afford to do some things in the house. So let's start with the kitchen, shall we? Our kitchen, I say our kitchen, it's my kitchen now, but our kitchen when I was married, when we moved in here for the very first time, was pretty much not too dissimilar to what you see now. Never had a fitted kitchen in here. It was very, very basic. And I immediately we moved in, I didn't want a fitted kitchen. I see YouTube videos of other people's houses and they look amazing. They look bright, they look clean, they look modern, they look expensive. And I've never, in all my endeavours to entertain and amuse people with my work, from an entertainer when I was juggling and unicycling and all of that, when I was doing extra work, never earned enough money really to bring up the family and then also invest in the house. It's always been a tricky business. I'd just not ever hit the big time, and you know, I could have got a different type of job, had a different income, and perhaps that would have made things different. But we are where we are, and I'm not unhappy about that, because my life has been different and interesting, and it's never been a thing that worried me. And so my kitchen is pretty old-fashioned in that nature, I suppose, and it is what it is. In fact, the sink that I have here is the same sink that was here, this terrible, cheap, nasty sink, when I moved in 31 years ago to the house. And I would like to have a butler sink with a wooden draining board, but I would actually like that outside in an outhouse, and here I would like to have a little relaxed sofa, nothing terribly twee, so that I can sit opposite my Essie, especially in the winter, put my feet up on a little poof, I suppose, and read and keep the heat in this area so that I don't have to heat the whole house. I don't have central heating here. There are no radiators, there never was. We had these ghastly 1970s convector gas things, which were awful and didn't do very much, and we ripped them out. But there was nothing to replace them. So it does get cold in the house. Fortunately, being a terrace sandwiched in between two other houses, it's only the front and back which provides us with a barrier of cold that we're trying to, I say we, it's like it's only me now here, that you're fighting against. And the insulation is rubbish, and I have holes in my doors and on all of that. But I like fresh air, so very often I have the windows open anyway, so it's kind of neither here nor there. So I would like my kitchen to be much more a meeting place where people can come, you can sit down. The Essie, my wood burning stove, is on all the time. I mean, I put that in fairly recently. When we moved in, there was, I think, a knackered old gas cooker, which we exchanged for another knackered old second-hand gas cooker that a friend gave us, who'd already had it for 12 years, apparently. And then we had the option to get a knackered old Rayburn that was in somebody's garden that was about third hand. And I plumbed that in. I also plumbed it so that it would do the water, heat the water up. And we had that for about 2 or 3 years until it actually eventually fell to bits. And then we had to go back to our gas cooker. But that was lovely. And then when I had the opportunity to buy an Essie, which was from my inheritance from my father, who died a few years ago, I bought the Essie as my treat, really. And that's probably the only newest and most expensive thing in this house, other than film equipment for making YouTube videos. So that's my kitchen, really. It's pretty much basic and used as it was used, probably when the house was built. So from this angle, you can't see too much of this room, which is probably a good thing, but I'll cut to a shot of from the door, slightly different. This is my or what would have been is the dining room of the house. It's now currently the junk room. Now this room, when Billy moved out, my son, he'd been here for about 3 or 4 years in the master bedroom. This was originally, I think, at one point his room. He then moved up into the bedroom, which is above it. And then when he wanted to move his girlfriend in, he moved into the master bedroom, which was my bedroom. And I moved into the small bedroom for about 4 years because there was only me. And it meant that he basically had effectively a flat, if you like, or at least one room as a lodger and access to the kitchen and bathroom, etc. And he paid me rent for that, which was very handy. When he moved out, there was a number of bits and bobs that he didn't take with him, and I got lumbered with because he hadn't got a vehicle to take them to the dump that he wanted to, and so a number of stuff came in here. And this had been at one point the Vobes show studio. And when he moved out, I moved the studio upstairs into the master bedroom because it had more space, and I could hopefully, the theory was to have guests and things. We haven't really had many guests in there, but it's much nicer, but although more echoey than this little back room. And things just have over the last few months gravitated to be plonked in here out of convenience, as is the case. But the plan really is to make this my office and edit room, to get rid of all the unnecessary junk, or at least tidy it up, and have this as where I do my editing and my office work. And then the front room, which you've probably seen before in other videos, which is a combination of a front room with one single second-hand armchair, and has my desk, my office desk as it were, and then my edit suite in there, which is what of course I use that most days. And I would like to move that in here so that I've got one room in the house that also acts as a room to escape from everything, or becomes more of a study, a front room where I can just keep my books, sit in front of the fire if I want to run the fire, if I haven't got my little sofa and stuff in front of the Essie. But for the moment, and one of the tasks I could certainly do during this lockdown period, this enforced imprisonment, is to tidy up this room. Like so many jobs that I could do, I was thinking, oh, I could paint some of the woodwork and what have you. Oh, I can't get to the paint shops to go and buy the gloss or the undercoat or anything. So these are the sort of things that I didn't, because I didn't know and have any warning that I was going to be locked down, I couldn't just go and get. And actually, by the time you've ordered it and it's arrived, the week's pretty much over, and I'll be back out and about doing my video. My videoing and my work really takes me away from doing domestic stuff, which is I suppose really, I just kept myself going with work, with what I call work, you know, running the YouTube channel, and it's taken me away from doing stuff around the house. And so ultimately you sort of go, oh my God, look at this mess and everything. The van conversion took me away from getting stuff down to the tip, but I think we're in a point now where I can, when I am free and with these longer formats and not doing videos every single day, I'm in a position where I can actually get some of my domestic stuff done, like sorting out the house, sorting out the garden, sorting out the shed, getting stuff down to the tip once that freedom. And of course lockdown didn't help, and all of the virus and stuff. I'm not really trying to make excuses. I accept completely all the responsibility that most of this is of my own making. But I've just kept my head down really and got on with making my videos. As people will know, I'm relatively, or have been relatively prolific, and the domestic side of things has just been, my house I suppose has always been just somewhere where I have lived whilst I have worked. So this is the hallway in my little 2 up 2 down, and you'll notice on the stairs there is no banister on the side that is open. There was when we moved in, but we took that off because trying to get bits of furniture, beds and things up and down the stairs was very difficult. And there's a sort of, it turns round on itself, it doesn't just go up, it turns round on itself up, and then there's a few more steps before you actually get to the next floor. And the ceilings are relatively high here, relatively high. There are other houses in which the ceilings are a lot higher. And I guess that means the heat goes up even further. But this is, I suppose, a place in which a lot of activity goes through in your hallway. I made a video fairly recently where I spoke about the gentleman who lived in the house beforehand, who at the front door, I think it was the front door, it may have been at the back door, collapsed and died. Obviously, when you come in the house, the first thing you do is you come in here, and it's got this awful wood chip paper. We didn't put that in, that was here when we came in, and wood chip is just a nightmare of a job to get rid of, so we've kept it in there. And I haven't overly painted it many times, to be honest with you. It's a fair expanse of paintwork, and it's up ladders, and I'm not good on heights. The reason I take you here is because I like this door. That was a feature that when we moved in, that really made it a nice house for me. There was something, I mean, the house was a mess when we moved in, absolute mess. It had been rented out and for years, I imagine, and the ceilings were just yellow from nicotine stains. The carpet that was on the floor was a brown carpet that had a black rubber underlay built onto the carpet, and that had perished, so there was this black dust everywhere. We pulled that up, and we thought actually what we would do, my ex and I, my ex-wife and I, is that we would take the house back to its more Victorian look. So we would dip the doors, take the doors off, dip them in wherever you dip them, so that they're stripped and they're back to the original pine, I suppose, that they're made from, and work on the house that way. But of course, unfortunately, children came along. We already had one, Stanley, and then we had 2 more, and that became too difficult to work on the house. And what was, we had things like what do you call those, heat guns, and a thing to try and get the all the paint off. And we worked, funnily enough, we did work on the banister for ages until eventually I just thought, no, cut the bloody thing off. And that was the best thing I've ever done. Now, I don't know if I would want to work on the house. People have said to me, oh, you should do that as part of your YouTube channel, the history, you know, as in heritage. Show us all of what the process is and all of that. But to be honest with you, I've been in this house now for 30 odd years, and there are things in this house that clearly need to be done. It probably needs rewiring. The windows probably need changing. There is no central heating. There probably should be. There's probably some insulating problems. There needs to be a new front door, a new back door. There is no kitchen to speak of. Some of the ceilings are dubious and need replacing. The roof probably needs looking at in great detail. It is a massive project, and rather than try to muddle through and do it up, my thoughts are actually that within the next perhaps 5 years I will sell the house. I didn't want to sell the house because two of my children were born here. One was born in the front room and one was born in the master bedroom, and it gives me centres me very much in this house. It's been a very important house. It's been a very happy house, actually. It's been a very, despite all the clutter and the stuff that's been kept, it's been a very, very happy, kindly house. It's always felt that there's a warmth here, and I would be very reluctant to actually go, but there's too much work that needs to be done, and I think I would just sell the house as a going concern, knowing that I would take a fair hit on that because my neighbours' houses have been done up and they're very nice, and I just can't afford to do it, and probably go and buy another ramshackle somewhere else. But where? Would I stay in Worthing? Probably not. I would like to, if I had the choice, I would go, if I had the money, I would like to buy an old Tudor timber frame something, but I probably won't have that. So it might, I guess now I would like to have somewhere with a bit of land, and it can be a smallish ramshackle place. I'm not worried about the cold and the wind and the rain getting in. I would just like to be away from the main road, be away from the town, and enjoy a bit of being nearer and closer to nature, really, and be able to grow my own stuff. Well, I don't know how interesting all of that lot has been, and I excuse me, I haven't taken you around the rest of the house, my front room, and obviously the studio upstairs some of you may have seen, and probably you don't want to go in my bedroom. The bathroom is that's a project and a half, I can tell you. But I've been mumbling on for quite some time, taking up quite a bit of your time. So if that's been interesting and you want to hear a bit more about and have another bit of tour of my old house, then do let me know and I'll consider that for a future video. I hope to be out of this lockdown situation by, well, Thursday is the official time. It's Tuesday today. This is going to be released this evening, Tuesday at 6. People may see this obviously at different times. I normally try to get another video out, so Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at the moment is what I'm doing. So I'll try and get something different for Thursday. Again, what shall I do at home? There's the possibility of a Philip Mercer story. Possibility, we'll see. But in the meantime, thank you for watching this. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. And of course you can support the channel. Go to baldexplorer.com to find out ways to do that. But I thank you for watching, and look after yourself and keep safe and all those usual comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.